taxes are just one of the inevitables in life. And here this morning with Tax Tips is Bill Vankos from the Rhinelander Tax Aid site. Good morning, Bill. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Doing very well. Thank you.
Well, 2021 was still a crazy year, especially early in the year with COVID-19. Some people were still unemployed. With that in mind, what do people need to realize when filing their taxes this year if they were unemployed?
Okay, probably the big thing is if someone did receive unemployment benefits in 2021, they are returning to being taxable again. They've always been taxable over the years. They exempted them for 1 year, 2020, but this year they're back to being taxable again. So that's probably the biggest change from the previous year.
Gotcha. All right. So was it just because of COVID, the reason that...
Yeah, that was part of the package when they did the three stimulus packages.
Okay.
That was one of the points that they wanted to try to help people out with.
Okay. All right. So if people got an advancement on their child tax payments, what can they expect when doing their taxes this year in tax returns?
Okay, it's not really going to be a terribly confusing thing. They will get a statement, a letter from the IRS telling them how much they got. Okay, and they just need to bring that in, and then that amount will be subtracted from what they normally would get. So the amounts went up a little bit, so that's a positive, and it just needs to be balanced out. So as long as they've got their report on what they received in the last 6 months of the year, and then we would look at it, and there's the rates depending on the age of their children, and then there's just a subtraction and it nets out. So relatively easy.
All right. Can anyone expect any major tax breaks this year?
Probably one of the better ones that can affect people, especially in the low to moderate income range, is the earned income credit. Okay. That used to be, you had to be between the ages of 25 and 64 to receive that credit. They've now changed it, and it's 19 and above. Okay. So as an example, say someone's retired and they get $10,000 or $15,000 worth of Social Security, and they decide to get a part-time job, maybe a seasonal job, maybe drive bus, something like that, and they earn another $10,000. They will be able to qualify now for an earned income tax credit, whereas before they would have been excluded if they were over the age of 64. So that'll be a help for people. So that's a positive. You know, taxes really aren't that bad of a thing. It's, you know, it's kind of, people think of it kind of like going to the dentist. It's just not something you look forward to doing. Yeah. But if you think of it, statistically, probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the people get a refund. The people that come to our tax aid site, it's probably more like 90% of those people get a rebate or a refund back. So it really is a better thing. It's not as bad as it is. And people are worried, oh, you know, I'm going to go there and I'm going to tell the government that I got all this money and they're going to tax me. Trust me, the government already knows if you're getting money. If you get a W-2, they know that. If you're getting a 1099 for interest, they're getting that from the banks. The dividends they're going to get. If you sell stock, any of those incomes coming in other than a cash income, they already know it. So we're not really telling them anything new. What we're trying to do is work on deductions or credits to reduce the amount of taxes on it. So, so if you look at it in that way, it's more of a positive than you know, we're not tipping our hand that we're trying to do that. So and we try to make it at the tax aid site as you know, pleasurable as possible. We try to inject a little humor and lighten it up a little bit and not make it such a, you know, horrible, painful situation.
So real quick, is the ADRC helping people this year in person, or is there a way virtually?
No, we've returned to in person. We didn't do it in Rhinelander, and most of the sites last year didn't do it. We're returning to in person. It's going to be done very well. We're going to have 5 stations in the 2-room setup, so there'll be very, very wide spread apart. We'll have plexiglass partitions. We'll take the input and then we'll separate. We'll do the return and then get back together to go over it. So, and we'll clean up and, you know, between each visit. So we're, you know, as volunteers, we want to watch for our health, but we're also concerned for everybody else's as well. So we'll do all the steps necessary to make sure that this is a safe experience for them.
Okay, so if people want help, where can they go? What information do you have that people can get to?
Well, I guess we just do taxes. We don't, so I would encourage somebody, I mean, if you want to go online and check it out, you certainly can. It really depends. I mean, we serve mostly the low to moderate income individuals. We will do any age. Our reputation is that we do seniors, but we will do most any age. So I would encourage people to come in. The difference between us and going to a paid provider is obviously you don't have to pay that $100 or whatever it costs to get it done. So that if you do qualify for earned income, or if you do qualify for a homestead credit, and maybe it's only $100 or $200, you know, are you going to pay almost that much to have it done? Whereas if you can get it done for free, then it's still worth your time to do it. So, but you know, there's plenty of places to go.
Right.
You can do the, you know, the TurboTax online if you want. I mean,
Sure.